Hey there. Well, I am super excited, just as promised, to bring you another self-made success story. We have not done this in a while. It's actually been, man, probably 3 months at least since we've done this. And that's not to say that we don't have a lot of success stories. It's actually because of the distractions that we've had with getting more programs up and running, serving the clients that we have to the best of our ability, working with the mentors, all that kind of stuff. And it dawned on me, we've got to get back to these success stories because they are so inspiring. I know that when I'm exposed to the possibilities, I really find myself personally like expanding in, what's not only possible, but what's probable for me. So I want that for all of the people that follow me, that follow Self-Made You. I want you to fully understand what is possible for you. So with that being said, I feel so privileged to introduce you to Lynda. She is a current client of ours, and I'm going to actually just let Lynda introduce herself, and then I'll ask her a few questions about her experience within Self-Made Mind and Body. So Lynda Boggs, thank you so much for being here. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. Thanks, Tracy, for inviting me. So I'm Lynda. I'm a partner in a large consulting firm as my day job. I'm also a mom of two daughters, ages 12 and 14. I'm a widow, but I'm also remarried. So I have two stepsons now as well. And so we have this fun household, a blended family of 4 teens roaming around while my husband and I are both virtual working in this pandemic scenario, bouncing on and off calls. But I really, I would say well-being is really important to me in addition to my sort of client sales and delivery responsibilities at my consulting firm. I also lead our well-being practice. And so the employee experience is something that's really important to me. So that's sort of my quick. I live in Arlington, Virginia, and I heard about a program from a friend that went through it and had great results. And I saw her and I asked her questions about it, and I was interested, and so I jumped on board.
Yeah. And to be quite honest, that's how most of our clients come to us. It is a company that has no doubt been built off of referrals. And that is so affirming to me that we have a world-class product that is giving people results like no other. And so, we've spent the money on paid advertising. We've done all the things. And what has not been lost on us is that referrals are our greatest source. So doing things like this, like putting some of our success stories out there, I think will help those of you who actually don't know anybody who's been through this program and maybe don't even know what the questions are that you want to ask. So Lynda started the program mid-May. So you are 3 months into it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, before we started working together, you had certain things that you wanted to accomplish. Tell us a little bit about what you were dealing with mentally, emotionally, physically at that time back in mid-May.
Yeah, I would say the stress of the pandemic had probably gotten the best of me. I think that a lot of my day was revolving around going to the grocery store, meal planning, trying to figure, and then serving my family of between 4 and 6, depending on who's there, meals, and then cleaning it up, like just a lot of food related stuff. And I think had put on a little bit of weight during the pandemic, and then have been anticipating a return to work and wanting to get back into my work clothes. But I just think overall stress management was not going so well, or as well as I would have liked it to have gone, with that trying to balance work and being home and just being near the kitchen all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get it. I definitely think that it's hard to sometimes put it into words, like what it is that you're looking for, because physically, sometimes it's really obvious. It's like, okay, I want to get it back into such and such size, or I want to be such and such weight, or I want to lose so much, pounds. But ultimately, it's what we're thinking and feeling that we're actually out of alignment with, and so many people don't know how to really articulate that, but that's why we come at it from kind of this unconventional approach. We show all of our clients this methodology from which they can solve every problem or every single issue or hurdle or obstacle that they have in their life. They can use this methodology that has them thinking and feeling different. We teach them how to manage their thoughts and their emotions so that they can get any result, whether that is, manage stress, more time, a different weight. We take it from a kind of a counterintuitive approach. Most people think that they're going to lose weight so they can feel better. We teach you to feel differently on the front end so that the actions organically happen. Mm-hmm. So take us through a little bit back in early May. Describe what you went through to actually make the decision to invest in yourself, to invest in this program.
Yeah, so I don't know that it was that hard of a decision. I knew it was something. I knew I wasn't happy with exactly where I was, and I am someone that enjoys working out, and I think I was working out actually too much, and you can't that saying, you can't work yourself out of a bad diet. Yeah. But I think I was spending a lot of time doing cardio and other things, and I was constantly going through the situation of working out a ton and then getting some kind of an injury and then feeling like I had a setback and it just wasn't working for me. So it really wasn't that. I mean, when I heard about the program, it sounded so different from anything I had tried before. I think it's because most things I've tried have been really on my own. Yeah. As opposed to working with a community and sort of having this accountability of being able to have these calls and really sort of share sort of what I was feeling. And so, and the structure of it too was helpful to me. And so I knew if I became part of something more formal and committed to it, that it would work better for me than sort of, well, maybe I'll try to eat more healthy today.
Right. Yeah.
I just wanted to try something new. And when I heard about it and saw the results, I will say at first I was the fasting part was very intimidating to me because I've always been a breakfast person. Breakfast is the most important meal in my brain. And so it took me a little while to wrap around that. But when I talk to people about it now, the way we eased into it felt very natural. I never really felt deprived. I think if I tried to just jump in and do sort of some of the fasting that I'm doing now from the start, it would have turned me off. But the way that we sort of worked into it felt very natural to me, and it was not as difficult as I thought it might be when I heard some of the windows of time when eating was not happening.
Right. Yeah. And we hear that all the time. Most of the objections are somewhere around either nothing's ever worked for me, and we can answer that by just saying this is totally different. We hear there's no way I'm going to be able to fast. I'm a binge eater. I can't even wrap my head around going a certain amount of hours without eating. We hear, I'm somebody that actually already does this. I get that a lot too. I'm somebody who knows how to intermittent fast, or I know what food fuels me. And I will say to that, the missing link is the methodology behind managing your thoughts and your emotions. And sometimes that is the springboard to actually get you started. And sometimes that's the springboard or the missing link into maintenance. So I'll hear people say, I can lose weight with the best of them, but I can't keep it off. And my answer is you have to understand how to manage your thoughts and your emotions. because that is going to organically have you doing or not doing different. So somebody who's listening or watching might think, I have way more weight to lose. So I guess tell us, how much weight did you want to lose coming into the program and where you're at right now?
Yeah, I guess I was thinking like 15 pounds would be where I want to be. I think by the time we got to the end of the fat burning part of it, I was about 13, so close to where I wanted to be. But then I decided that maybe I wanted to go further and that maybe I could do more than what I thought. And maybe my natural weight was actually lower than what I thought. And so, to be honest, I don't have a scale with me. I'm on a vacation. I didn't bring my scale, but I feel like my clothes are fitting well. I don't know how much I've gone down since that. I would say I got to like 13 to 15. It depends on a long fast, and it just kind of fluctuates a little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've maintained, and I've been on a vacation or away from home at least for several weeks. And so I feel pretty good about that, because I think a lot of things I've done in the past, it's been like these, 30 days, and then by day 31, I'm back to my old tricks. And so this feels more like a lifestyle change. And my husband's been sort of picking up on some of it too, like the fasting part, not as much of all the other food protocol. And now I'm really trying to figure out, how do I get my kids to sort of buy in on some of it, because I see the larger health benefits. I want to show them that now so they can live, just live like this, as opposed to trying to make a change later in life and reverse things. Like, how about not having some of those bad things ever happen?
Right. Yeah.
So I'm struggling a little bit with that in terms of how to approach that, but I've had so many of my personal benefits. I really try not to talk about it with everyone I see, because it's hard when you sort of feel like you have learned something special. You want to share it with people, but you also don't want to be make them feel like you're judging how they're currently living. But it's a tight rope.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can so relate to that. As a life coach, I'll just be in conversation with somebody and I've learned to ask, would you like some coaching on that? Because to assume that everybody just wants to know how you've done what you've done or how to feel the way you feel is, it's an assumption, and it's not always correct. So I will say, though, it makes it challenging when you see how you transform mentally, emotionally, physically, metabolically, and to resist that urge to want to tell, especially your family and your friends. I will say I get a lot of referrals coming through family, so many, even immediate family members put, their loved ones through the program or recommend going through the program as young as high schoolers, middle schoolers, actually even. Because these are life skills that make life so much easier when you learn them and practice them from, kind of that fundamental stage. Before you learn a lot of bad habits, you can learn how to metabolically and mentally and emotionally be fit, live kind of optimally. And it touches every area of your life, from a physical standpoint, from a professional standpoint, from a social standpoint, from longevity and, limiting your risks of chronic illnesses and diseases, not to mention something as huge as that. So it was super exciting. It's always super exciting to me to have people come in from all different demographics, as well as with different goals. So we get the people who are looking to lose 100+ pounds, the 50 pound mark, as well as 10 pounds. We've even had people come in that actually didn't want to make weight loss their goal. They wanted to make balancing out their hormones their goal. Other people, I just got a text 2 days ago that said, I came in not even really understanding what being fat adapted was all about, because she's like, I didn't think I had a lot of fat to lose. And now I understand the benefits of being fat adapted. Even if I don't have a lot of weight to lose, I know the benefits of burning fat versus burning sugar. But she said, what came out of this is I'm life adapted. I'm life adapted. I'm like, like that was so rewarding to hear, because that's the comprehensiveness of this program. So I'm so glad to hear. I'm always so affirmed by the fact that people want their family members, their loved ones, their friends to know that there is another way. Where do you see yourself going forward? How confident are you that you can continue to lead this kind of lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the no flour, no sugar, I feel very like that is for me, and like I'm done with that. I've had psoriasis since I was like 9 years old, and it's just like I'm on medication for it too. I don't even know whether I'll have to stay on the medication because I feel like the results from not having the gluten and sugar has been like amazing on my skin. So the fasting, I think I'm still figuring that out in terms of how I'll kind of go in and out of it. I feel like we've learned a lot in terms of different kinds of fasts and what time of month to do different kinds of fasting. And I'm still experimenting with that. I definitely feel very comfortable, not eating 2 hours before I go to bed and then getting up and not having breakfast, but sort of like the lunch, dinner, or what I'm going to do in the afternoon sometimes just depends on what's happening in my life that day. And sometimes I do have breakfast if it's, something that I feel like I need or want at that moment. So I'm still trying to figure that out, but I feel really good about it being sort of a lifestyle change as far as eating sort of healthy, whole foods and incorporating a lot more fat into my diet that I never would have thought that I would see so many benefits from that. I mean, sometimes when I'm like stuck and I eat more fat, it sort of like helps. And then I'm like, wow, it really does work.
Yeah. Totally counterintuitive to what we have been, taught.
Yeah. And then I would say just like the self-coaching piece too. I feel like I'm still an apprentice. I haven't mastered that yet, even though I'm in the master's part. Of the program. So I'm still working through that and trying to figure out how to best incorporate that into my life. But, I definitely feel that there's been like a sense of calm and just sort of, just like a greater level of stability in my emotions as a result of changing my diet, but then also incorporating some of these other practices into my life. So yeah, I'm all in.
Yeah. One thing, we tend to attract a lot of very busy professionals. And I was looking back at your tracker that you and your mentor worked from so that you had that sense of accountability. But I was looking back at it, and at the end of 2 months, you were down 13 pounds and you were already hitting levels of like 4.0 in regards to ketones.
Yeah.
I, as a busy professional, really value being in ketosis because I just get all of these benefits that I would have never expected. And they really support my busy lifestyle. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of the benefits of being able to focus my attention on things that maybe require maybe a higher level of like intellectual, not just my emailing and my running around, but if I need to read something or write something and being able to sit there and feeling like sort of more in the flow of whatever it is that I'm doing. I think I definitely have felt that. And I have felt that then when I do sometimes break my fast, I'm like, oh, maybe I should have waited longer because now I'm all tired. I'm surprised at the energy surges that I experienced during a longer fast. But I also think that sugar was a kind of a go-to for whenever I was feeling like super stressed or maybe down. And recognizing like what that really does to your body in terms of like, maybe it feels good for a few minutes, but then it actually made me feel worse.
Right.
And then when you sort of have the opposite experience, really being able to go back and say, okay, that really maybe wasn't serving me to, you know, have that bag of gummy bears when I was feeling stressed. Better that I, you know, either not eat and just work through what I need to work through, or have something like an avocado, or, you know, just something that would be more energizing for me.
Yeah.
So,
For all those busy professionals, busy moms out there who are thinking, I just don't know if I can find the time or I have the capacity to really change my lifestyle, what would you say to them?
yeah, I mean, again, as someone that like grew up where in the morning we would talk about like, what are we gonna have for dinner tonight? I actually felt like I had extra time in my life. I do, in the sense of like, I'm not always thinking about the next meal and like the shopping, the planning. Like, I actually all of a sudden have a ton of space to do things. And even if my whole family's fasting, I've been able to figure out how to work around that in terms of like what's there for them. I mean, all my kids are all old enough to prepare something if they are hungry. So, but that actually has just freed up a lot of headspace and just real time in terms of just not being so focused on meals all the time. But the busier I am, the less I even think about it, and the more I'm focused on other things. So it's actually like given me time back, which I think has been one of the biggest benefits.
Yeah, I would totally agree. And I always say this program is absolutely perfect. The busier you are, the better suited you are for this program. I would say the other probably number 2 objective I get is price. And I will also say that we've done our part in this arena. We decided that we didn't want that to be a barrier for anyone. So we broke up the program. Lynda's going through it in its entirety. She paid for it all in one big chunk. We decided that we were going to break up the intensive into 2 pieces and therefore break down the price for people so that they could get the fundamentals. They could learn how to build protocols, incorporating fasting, incorporating the foods that fuel them, that they would learn exactly how to self-coach with accountability to make sure that they're doing it right. And also to really understand how to use the tools that support this program, like blood glucose monitors, like understanding your ketones, like, you know, the model, the methodology of the model, and so forth. So that is the intensive 101. And then we broke out 201, which goes into the deeper metabolic science behind things, into the hormones, creating bigger goals for yourself. So we hear people all the time, and we definitely don't want time or finances to keep people from this information, from transforming their life the way that they want to. So with that being said, Lynda, is there anything else that you can think of that you want to share, that you think is important for those people out there who haven't pulled the trigger to know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think that, and I think it's great that you've changed the pricing structure to make it more flexible for people. I will say that for me, because I made that sort of what I felt was like a real investment in me, it sort of amped up my commitment level, because I was like, well, if I'm going to spend this much money, then I'm not missing any of the classes. I'm not going to not do the homework. Like, I'm going to treat this like I'm enrolled in a course that like you know, because it's because of that, you know, that investment. So there's some benefit, I think, to having that, whether you're breaking it up or not, versus something that you might be just, I bought this book and I'm going to read it. And then it's like, are you going to do it or are you going to not? You can wait. But when you make sort of a financial commitment, it's sort of like you're all in, I think. So that was really beneficial. I think that was a beneficial part of having paid the lump sum.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't underestimate the value of the community. I've really enjoyed just connecting with other, it just so happens that it has been mostly women. I know you said some people like go through with their spouses, but just other women, a lot of people that are sort of in my age group, professionals, juggling, parenting on the side, and just a lot of common threads, and just great to build a community outside of my like traditional professional network. So that's been a huge benefit. And I still I'm on text with a couple of ladies that are local that are in the program with me. And it's just been a really great support system, and just, trying to cheer each other on. So that's a really positive aspect too.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing. It has been such a pleasure to have you in the community. We really do attract diverse, demographics, and it's such a pleasure and an honor to literally come alongside all of these women who have different objectives and to show them and empower them with the methodology that we bring forth, and to just really support that journey, because it does take application. It does take accountability. It is a curriculum of self-discovery, but that's what makes it so comprehensive. And that's what really makes it more of a lifestyle change, that you don't have to have any of those worries or concerns that you'll go back to your old ways. We're teaching you how to maintain through the mastery portion of the program. So, but with that being said, it's not an overnight, application. It's not an overnight transformation. It does take time, but that's the journey. That's the process of learning. And so we have really loved watching you grow. It has been so inspiring to see your results, to see you be so detailed in your tracker about the feelings that you're experiencing, the vacations that you went to, the events, the birthday parties, watching your ketones and your blood glucose, have their moments, and you to manage your mind through that and get to your goals. So thank you so much for sharing. I so appreciate you taking out the time, especially when you're on vacation.
Happy to do it.
Thank you. Have a fantastic day. And if you guys want to learn more about Lynda's experience, you can find her in the student union. I'm sure she'd be happy to answer any specific questions if you want to DM her. So thanks again, Lynda, and have a great remainder of your vacation.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.